Hi, everybody. Tomorrow night, I'm going to be announcing here from the White House some steps that I can take to start fixing our broken immigration system. And then on Friday, I'm going to be traveling to Del Sol High School in Las Vegas, where 2 years ago, I laid out the principles for comprehensive immigration reform. Everybody agrees that our immigration system is broken. Unfortunately, Washington has allowed the problem to fester for too long. And so what I'm going to be laying out is the things that I can do with my lawful authority as president to make the system work better, even as I continue to work with Congress and encourage them to get a bipartisan, comprehensive bill that can solve the entire problem.
There you go. And that takes us to our guest, Charles Hurt, columnist for the Washington Times, with his latest column, Trashing the Republic to Save His Party with Immigration Reform. Hello, Charles.
Hey, Steve.
You know, I'm so glad the president said this. He said this on whitehouse.gov, and I'm sure you're aware by now that the president did not ask the broadcast networks for time tomorrow. So apparently ABC, CBS, and NBC have not been invited to this party. They're not going to show his speech. It's going to be on Telemundo, by the way, and cable.
It's just incredible. It's just incredible. And to hear what he just said right there about he's going to do what is lawful. Well, you know, just months ago, this exact same constitutional expert was telling us that what he is now going to do was not lawful. It was a violation of the Constitution. It was a abrogation of his responsibilities to uphold the Constitution. Now, all of a sudden, now that they need a whole bunch of new voters because they got their tails whipped in an election, it's a whole different matter. It's all within his legal authority. I think it's hard to overstate how much damage will be done if to our Constitution and to this country if this guy carries through with this stuff.
Well, you talk about that in your piece, and you know, you say forget the smarmy political desperation of it, forget the third world, the despotic nature of it, forget even the cynical Machiavellian deceitfulness of it, and then you talk about, you know, everything that that Obama's threatening to do and will do and why he's going to do it.
Yeah, and literally, I mean, for years now, President Obama, who has told us from the start that he is a constitutional expert from Harvard, he has been explaining exactly why he cannot do any of this.
Right.
And he has explained it every way possible. And then all of a sudden, boom, he changes everything. And what it means is that, you know, this is the part that I find as disturbing as anything is how much it damages the presidency. So this is like after, you know, Nixon has been exposed, then he refuses to leave and just stays around forever. That's what we have here. President Obama is admitting that, I mean, he has said by his own definition that he's now lying about what's lawful and what's not lawful. And so nothing he ever says from this point forward can you take as truthful.
Yeah, and one might argue that extends way back. I mean, you know, and you. Charles, you could bash your head against the wall because you and I have talked about many times, and you've written about how it's one scandal, one thing after the next, you can't keep up. And now, you know, yesterday we had his lackadaisical, looked like someone was keeping him awake, response to the killing, the slaughter of 3 Jewish American rabbis in a temple, in a synagogue in Jerusalem, and he morally equivocated that with, you know, gave moral equivalence with, well, a lot of Palestinians have died also. 3 Americans, you'd think he'd be standing on the rooftops screaming and yelling and outraged. He could barely keep his eyes open.
Yeah, and you know, the danger here when you have so many of these scandals going on, so much at once, it's sort of hard to kind of keep track of all the bad things that will happen sort of in all of the confusion.
Do you think I'm sorry, do you think there's a method to their madness not requesting ABC, CBS, and NBC?
I think absolutely, because I think that they know that in the short term that they could take a very serious hit in all of this. But they are looking. But you know, look, when the electorate speaks, it's never that when they've been rejected at the polls, it's never that they need fixing or maybe that they're the problem. Their instant response to it is that there's something wrong with the electorate, so we must go out and change the electorate by making. And honestly, the reason that they're not They haven't told us how many millions of illegals they're going to give amnesty to, because they haven't figured out how many they need in Texas to turn Texas blue.
Right,
They
or in
haven't figured out how
Florida
many
to
they need
win.
in Florida.
Right, to win
All
the
these
next
places.
election, as you wrote in your piece. Yeah.
I guarantee you, they're sitting there with chess pieces right now, just passing, moving across the board, trying to figure out, well, maybe if we get this many over here, we can, we don't ever have to worry about Ohio again.
Everybody check out WashingtonTimes.com and check out Charles Hurt's piece, Trashing the Republic to Save His Party with Immigration, quote-unquote, reform. Thank you, Charles. We'll speak to you soon.
Thanks, Steve.
Take care. Up next, senior political analyst for the Washington Examiner, Michael Barone. What will the new political map look like? Don't go away.